All right, welcome, folks, to another round of Ultimate Team Stave. Been going heavy on this the last month and a half or so now. We got quarterfinals tonight, and then also we're gonna be starting off with a consolation round 3. Last full set of 8 matches, so we're kind of done with the long ones, and now we're just getting down to the nitty gritty. But going ahead, what will be lacking in matches, we'll definitely make up for in intensity. Real quick, just running through the consolation round 3 tonight. We got Winnicott versus Pulaski, Fenimore versus Luxembourg Casco, Milton versus Arrowhead, Nicolet versus Aquinas, Rapids versus Mukwonago, Coleman versus Kaukauna, and Amory versus Holman, and Marshfield versus Wausau West. And my bad, a little bit of a rush there. But the last 4 I mentioned are the quarterfinals tonight. So yeah, we will get rocking and rolling on that. Steve, any duels in particular you're excited for?
All of them, man.
I was gonna say it is definitely okay to say all of them in this one. Not really a bad duel in the bunch.
Go ahead, Teague. I got texting going on here.
Busy man. No 4 wheels tonight though, Steve, unfortunately.
Okay. All right.
Okay, let's get started. Winnicott versus Pulaski. Oh, we also got the spin for the blood round tonight as well.
I thought this was going to be a close one, but I ended up having a pretty lopsided score.
So Pulaski did win the toss. They chose to go odd at first. Starting off at 182, Petroshki versus Woozencraft. Woozencraft we just gave him a solid major there. At 195, Winnicott chose to bump up Dylan Krings. They take a forfeit against Trenton Gibbons, which gives Krings a better match against Will Friedman. And we're going right to the wheel here. Krings versus Friedman. It's 60-40 in favor of a major here for Krings. I make the wheel a little bigger for when I have to edit it.
Sorry, I'm not adding much. I'm trying to get my screens situated.
I'll wait till the wheel's at a somewhat even point.
There we go.
And it looks like it is a pin there for Krings. So that makes it 6-10, 10-6 Pulaski, I should say. Then not a whole lot of wheels on these next few, but for Johnson versus Wells, we gave Wells a pin.
Yep.
Sternard versus Kapla, gave Kapla just a straight up 3 on this one. Eckert versus Bame. This is a 6 in favor of Ethan Eckert. Marks versus Pratt. Gave Pratt 4 on this one. Okay. Real quick here before we go any further. For those that were paying attention last week, said Baldwin won 33-31. Steve, I hate to admit these things. Steve is right. He was wondering why we didn't give Menier a straight up 6.
Yeah.
The numbers that we gave for Menier on the wheel, that was in case he went against Hunter Gartman. He went against Tayden Holdorf and not Gartman. No disrespect to Holdorf, but we're talking about Caleb Menier here.
Yeah.
Giving Menier the pin tied things up between Winnicott and Baldwin Woodville. And Winnicott had the criteria on pin. So
no way. Okay.
Completely changed the whole duel. Winnicott and Pulaski, both teams that have been in controversial duels, as we'll say.
I was wondering, I'm looking at this going, I thought Pulaski was on the other side, so I didn't catch that.
Midway through this one, Pulaski's up 29-6 at 126. Gave a 3 to Connor Nguyen over Mason Sternard. 1-32. Brody Hart versus Ryan Freeward. This one was either a major or a tech, leaning towards a tech. I did spell tech wrong in that little typo.
No worries.
So Hart picks up a major. Also, if I'm talking at 1,000,000 miles per hour, I had a Mountain Dew a few hours ago, and caffeine just hits me a little differently.
Oh, does it?
Yep. Aiden Hart. So Pulaski decided to bump up Brady Geel, Cole Gorecki, and Caden Ribicki. Aiden Hart gets 6 points there. For Menier against Geel, Menier picks up another pin, no questions this time. Joey Clem against Cole Gorecki. This one's either a major or a tech for Clem.
Okay. Radio silence.
It looks like it is a major.
It's fun doing the shout outs too, Teague, man. Every single day looking at teams. So, they have come back. Gets you pretty excited. I know we're talking last year here, but next year's going to be exciting.
I know you did brilliant today. That's got their sectional preview coming up, which is going to be a fun one. We just can't catch any easy ones, Steve.
Nope. Well, the first regional is pretty easy. Second regional is not.
Got a swing match at 160. Oh, you think the first regional is easy? There's I don't think the second choice was easy.
Oh no, the first choice is pretty easy.
So Winnicott wins at 160, and then 170 Nathaniel Eckert versus Tristan Taylor. Taylor gets 6 there. Pulaski wins 38-28. And just a couple notes on this duel. And I know the records can look kind of deceiving, but Pulaski wrestled a really tough schedule this year. That's why some of those where Winnicott has better records. We still favored Pulaski. Keep in mind, we look at the matches of every single one of these guys. Like we definitely do our due diligence on this. Pulaski still ended up winning 8 matches, but Steve, I would say Winnicott, I know they were seeded 16th. I still making it to the final 16 in this tournament's not easy.
It's not bad. I just posted the score I had.
I think Pulaski outgunned them just a little bit in this one. We're learning that Pulaski definitely a team not to be. I mean, they went against Kaukauna in their sectional last year, so I think they kind of got overshadowed by that. But Pulaski moves on to the next round. We can actually figure out who teams are going against tonight. Next up, Fenimore versus Luxembourg Casco. First of our 3 matches, Steve, where we have team state finalists going against each other.
This one's a rough one.
They're all cross-divisional. So Fenimore and Luxembourg Casco. Fenimore did win the toss. They opted for Luxembourg to go first on odds. So Fenimore's going first on evens. I forgot to put that in there. But Nathan Blaschke versus Ezra Wage. Just need to plug in names.
Teague, I have a guest speaker coming on for you at 6:30.
A guest speaker? Do I need to send a Zoom link to someone?
I'll send it. I'll see if I can forward it.
Sounds good.
I might have to go radio silent because I can't do 2 things at once.
Well, have them text you when they're on. That's right. Steve's going to be gone tonight early, folks. So
I apologize.
All right, 60-40 in favor of Blaschke. And ends up being a close one, but Blaschke does pull off the win, which the wheel was not so friendly towards Fenimore on the championship side of things, but we knew that them being in the Consolation was not a good sign for the teams that they'd be going up against. Next up, we got Cameron Wolf versus Sebastian Sauter. Fenimore actually in these next 3 weights, they did do a bump here where they bumped Blaschke, Wolf, and Winkers up. Wolf, Winkers, and Gratz all pick up pins on Sauter, Van Donzel, and Chervenka. At 106 pounds, Amron Nutter versus Jake Gendron. This one was either a major or a pin in favor of Nutter.
How did Birchman ever lose? I mean, I'm sorry. How did Fenimore ever lose? This is crazy.
Oh, we got Timmy on here. Tim, we're done with Winnicott and Pulaski. If you had a score for that one. All right, Nutter picks up a pin at 106. So Fenimore keeps things rolling here. 113, Ian Crap. We have him picking up a solid decision over Isaac Jarabic, would be a solid match. 120 pounds, Brecken Minch versus Easton Warachek. This one we have as a decision or a major for Warachek. Leaning towards a major.
Okay. Ooh, this is rough.
All right, Warachek does pick up the major here. £126. Birchman versus Blakely Bashton. This one's either a major or attack, going 50-50 on this one.
I posted my score. I'm not saying who I have as winning yet.
Well, if you have Fenimore at the 27, then you might be in some trouble already.
All right, I'll just wait.
No, Birchman, it picks up the tech there. 132 pounds, Nick Needham versus Caleb Delebru. Gave Delebru a solid 3 over Needham. Needham at 22 and 18. Kind of one of those guys, you know, not a first string guy the whole time through the season, but he's good to plug in matches, and he's not going to give up a lot of bonus points. 138 pounds, Rondsman versus Stelt. If this were a real tournament, Tristan Stelt, he's run the gauntlet of tough wrestlers so far, I would say.
Agreed.
All right, so this is a 70-30 in favor of a major for Rondsman. We have either a major or a tech.
Jeez, I can't text tonight.
And it looks like Rondsman ends up with just a major on Stelt.
Wow, Tim had a blowout for Fenimore. I had Fenimore winning.
145, Caden Hahn versus Tristan Theory. Gave Hahn just a solid 3 here. 152, Wyatt Onan versus Hunter Junio. This one was either a major or a tech for Junio. And Junio, it does get a tech. Might be a little too late for Luxembourg, though, at this point. 160 pounds. We got a swing match again.
I give it to LC.
Between Zandowitz and Ruthio.
See what Luxembourg Casco is. They have hard to pronounce last names.
I learned that my first year pronouncing place winners at Bi-State. And, there's no shortage of Luxembourg place winners at Bi-State.
Right.
And then at 170, Fenimore threw in Connor Swadek. Of course, they did bump away from Trey Shanebeck. So Shanebeck does get 6. That makes it 41-22 Fenimore. So Fenimore just keeps rolling. And I just think the 4 pin, Steve, that's what hurt Luxembourg here. That was kind of the matchup that Fenimore, they struggled with in that round of 16 matchup, but here it definitely benefited them, and winning 9 out of 14 matches too. This would be a duel in real life. It would be all good matches. You can't have a wheel replicate how good this duel would be.
I'm saying Fenimore comes back and takes 3rd.
Fenimore, I mean, they're 4 matches away now from doing that.
Wow, that's a lot.
Next one up, we got Milton versus Arrowhead. Milton won the toss here, and they chose to send first on odds. Or sorry, Arrowhead. Arrowhead won the toss, yeah. And Milton decided to they bumped up Sinclair to Sormo and Eckert to maybe pick up some extra bonus points. So Arrowhead probably looking to not have Mulvaney go against Sinclair, but Milton did the work for them on this one. And Steve, Milton starts off hot here. So
Milton's going to be stacked this year, by the way. Just going to throw it out there.
What?
I said Milton's going to be stacked this coming year. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, they're going to be, we got their sectional coming up. What is it? Next week? Wait, did we do Milton already?
No, we have them coming up.
That's right. Yep.
Jeez.
This one, DeSormo versus Thiessen. This is either a major or a pin for DeSormo.
Pin. Well, no, actually, I just got a major. You're right. The Du Chateau show. Sorry, I'm a little bit ahead. A little bit ahead of my scoring.
Is a major. Hey, got someone coming onto the Zoom.
Oh, yeah. That's your guest speaker.
All right. So we got a major for DeSormo. 220 pounds. Charlie Eckert versus Conor Morenis. Gave Eckert 6 and then gave Caleb Peters 6 over Austin Rice. Real quick before we go to 106. Welcome to the show, Matt Verbaden.
What's up, fellas? How we doing tonight?
Oh, we got a thanks for coming in as the special guest tonight.
Yeah, just got home from watching some of my guys that also play soccer and said, what's going on? Let's do it.
We're in the middle of Milton and Arrowhead. So Matt getting promoted from the comments section to being the guest on the show here.
Yeah, you're promoting matches for me the other day with Westy Pierce, so I figured I might as well jump in here.
Yeah, man. I wanted to see if we could set one up, you know.
We like to play matchmaker.
Well, I see that. That. So.
Literally, I didn't realize I was having a play on words there.
At 106 pounds, Colin McDowell picks up 6 points. And then, Matt, if you go to our YouTube page, you can see the duel as it unfolds as well. Actually, I'm screen sharing on the Zoom, so I guess you can see it that way. But yeah. 113, Aiden Slama versus Davey Carpenter. Milton picks up another pin. Carter Johnson versus Lucas Ryan.
This is a pin heavy match. That's how I scored it.
That's that seems to be the MO with Arrowhead matches. So this one we have a 70-30 in favor of a tech here for Ryan.
I don't think Wrightstone's ever dueled Arrowhead match. Maybe should get that one in the old lineup.
Well, might have to get a hold of Mr. Farrell, see if we can line something up one time. So. See, at the Cheesehead, that's when we see him, probably the only time we see him during the year. So
we got Connor Krumer versus Matt Haldeman at 126. This one was tough. Connor Krumer did get a win over Wolbert. I know Haldeman and Wolbert had a couple of good matches. Haldeman beat Wolbert as well, but Haldeman's whole body of work on the year just really gave us the edge to him. So it's a 90-10 here. And Arrowhead is Milton's the higher seed, so we'll make them green.
Matt, I think if you guys wrestled them, the Blues would clash. That's probably why you guys haven't dueled.
Yeah, it's that baby blue kind of, you got that kind of Little Shoot's got a little splash of that in there too. So
Oh, Matt, too soon. We don't speak of Little Shoot.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So.
So Haldeman gets the decision at 126. 132, the Du Chateau show picks up a pin over Lucas Harms. Got another swing match at 138 between Kilazuski and Nate Druckery.
Matt, I don't know if you can see the comments, but Tim says hi. Or he didn't say hi, he just says Matt. Matt's got a little extra feedback going on there. It just makes it a little interesting for everybody watching.
Helps the radio silence part.
That's right. Sounds like he's got a skill saw going on in the background.
Milton picking up both the swing matches here. 145, Royce Nilo versus Sawyer Eisenhut gave Nilo 6. 152 pounds, Mitch Messenbrink, one of the few that will give an automatic pin to. 160, Michael Schleem versus Blake Rippenberg. Schlem, sorry.
I'd give him 6 too. He's a pinner.
We got this one as a decision or a major.
Well, nobody's perfect.
It's an imperfect science, but we try to make it as perfect as possible.
Tim had a blowout though, 41-24. That was a little
Fenimore.
closer.
Yeah.
No, for that was Fenimore. Sorry, I'm way. Oh, he had 4. Oh, him and I are pretty close. I was looking wrong. He had 40-30 Milton. I had 43-33 Milton. Both by 10.
So major for Schlem.
Matt,
And then-
Milton, Arrowhead. Who you got?
I got Arrowhead. Too many bonus points.
Well, they did pick up 29 and they picked up 29 total points, but Milton ended up winning 9 matches to their 5. So that ended up being the advantage. And I know, Steve, you're pretty well versed on Milton, but I just think when Arrowhead goes against a team where a couple of their studs can match up against like their studs, like Milton has Haldeman and whatnot, I just think they kind of got outgunned a little bit in this one.
Yeah, and Matt was wrong. 3 guys to 1. Hey, what was the final score, Teague? I got 2 different screens on, but I don't have yours on. What did you have for the score?
44-29 of Milton.
Okay. Yeah.
I guess I think of it a little bit different. I mean, you guys are going straight up. You're not going with any chess matching in there. You know what I mean? There's some possibilities of trying to get some stuff that way, maybe.
So we did, Milton was the one that was actually able to do the chess match. You hopped on like right after, but we were thinking Arrowhead was looking to get Mulvaney away from Sinclair, but they started at 82 and Milton did the work for them there. They bumped Sinclair to Sormo and Eckert up to kind of maybe steal a win, but also pick up bonus points. And it paid off big time for them because Milton ended up getting 5 pins to match Arrowhead's bonus points, and then they just had 4 extra wins as well. It's don't ask me how much time I spend on this, Matt. It might be a little too much.
No, I've been looking at her a little bit closer now that I kind of see if you wanted to go records wise, I guess I see where a lot of that would happen with just with some of the studs they got, the way the lopsided matches do go that way. And plus they pick up the regular wins, where Arrowhead doesn't get many of the regular wins or chance at a major. So I think that's our difference right there, or the regular decisions, the matches.
Steve, if you want to share your spreadsheet with Matt, he can look at the duels in there.
Sure.
So we can be looking at the same thing, Matt. We try to play the chess match aspect as much as we could. Try to play both sides of the coaching, which can be hard sometimes.
Sure. Yeah, I'll forward it to you.
I mean, you got to move guys from 152 to 170 sometimes. It all depends what you got to do. So.
Hey, I know a coach that did that the year they won Team State. Did it with, was it DeRocher?
Ooh. Put a sentence together, Matt. Put a sentence together, Matt. Hold the thought.
Next up here, last consolation match, we got Nicolet and Aquinas. A little unstable network.
Yeah, Matt, you froze up. So I'm sure you said something really good, but we just didn't get it.
Steve, does Steve always bring the heat like this to you, Matt?
He does on stuff like this, yeah.
We're face to face, no, because I kind of do, because you can't catch me anyway.
Oh.
Well, he's still mad. I have to take down championship plays in school.
I'm not. Just relax.
Nicolet versus Aquinas here. We got Nicolet qualified for Team State and D1. Aquinas made team sectional finals. Starting off at 182 here.
Hey, T,
a lot
first
of
off,
this is going to be decided in the early goings of this match, but Caleb Ryzuk versus Riley Klar. Ryzuk has a 75-25 advantage in this swing match.
Hey, Matt, I shared the thing with you. If you want to take a look at it.
It has Steve's picks in it, so take it with a grain of salt.
Teague. Oh, throwing a shot across the bow. 4 matches in. Matt's internet's terrible.
So Ryzuk picks up the win, giving Nicolet the early lead.
Teague, I'll tell you this. Tim's got his score in 36-28 Nicolet. I have 28-27 Aquinas.
Good stuff. I mean, so it's shaping out to be a good duel no matter what. 195 Garzone versus Liam gave Garzone 6 points here. Got a couple of big matches here coming up. Got 2 swing matches. Steve, I know you got to head out shortly here, but you get to see a 12-point swing match tonight.
Nice. I'm going to post my Mukwonago rapid score. Then I'm going to get the heck off just in case it doesn't come out the way Tim likes it.
So Aquinas picks up the win at 220 pounds. So here we go. Heavyweight Horahan versus Stolmacher, 50-50 match, but it's a 12-point swing match, fellas. So it's either a pin for Stolmacher or a pin for Horahan. I know we take the 12-point swing matches lightly, but I think we've all had heavyweight matches where we know where that's like the only 2 possibilities is it's a pin for one guy or a pin for the other.
Hey, T, can you I think Matt got kicked out. You want to let him back in? He said he needs access, he said.
Does he need access to your document?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
All right, so spinning the wheel for heavyweight, and Horahan picks up a big pin at heavyweight, which sets up nicely for Aquinas as after Horahan, they got Jake Fitzpatrick waiting in the wings. Fitzpatrick does pick up the pin at 106. Nicolet moved up Ryland Smith. They switched Smith and Altman. At 113 pounds, Ryland Smith kind of does a wash there at the lower weights, picks up a pin as well. 120 pounds, Lewandowski versus Bagneski. Lewandowski also, so back-to-back pins for Aquinas, back-to-back pins for Nicolet. We got 21-15 Nicolet after 7 matches here. 126 pounds, we got Zach Moline versus Jaden Torres-Steen. Gave a solid 3 to Zach Moline here. 132 pounds, Justin Chisel versus Trevor Paulson. This one, we decided it was either a major or a decision for a Paulson. We already got the wheel set up.
Sorry, I'm posting my next one. All right, I got to post my score, and then I'm gonna then I got to go.
Sounds good.
Tim, you have to let me know what Tim thinks of this one.
Well, Steve, I'll catch you tomorrow for the D2 sectional B recording.
Yeah, excited for that. Who do we got on for that one again?
Chaz Tremmel.
Nice.
130.
Chucky Tremmel.
Chucky Tremmel. Matt, were you able to get in before I go?
No.
All right.
That's if you.
Maybe FBI stuff here. I mean, this is like from Mar-a-Lago or whatever, I think.
Oh, here, Matt, I got to give you access to it.
Oh, well, see.
All right. I shared it with you now, Matt. You should be good.
Yeah, you share better than Steve anyway, so.
138 pounds between Lewandowski and Jesse Pinky. Lewandowski gets a solid decision here. No wheel or anything. 145 between Flaggy and Ramirez. This one, Ramirez pretty good at staving off pins, but Flaggy is a bonus point machine. This one's either going to be a tech or a pin here for him. It's a 1090. We've played around with the 1090 wheel a few times now since it landed on the 10 that one time.
All right. Posted and I'm out. All right, guys. I got my next score in. We'll see you tomorrow, Teague.
Catch you later, Steve.
Have fun, Matt.
And we got a pin for Flaggy. Pinky versus Ben Ott. Pinky, state runner-up. Ben Ott, D1, a state qualifier. Gave Pinky a decision here. 160 pounds. Braden Ott versus Calvin Hargrove. This is 60-30-10, 60% chance of a pin, 30% chance of a major, 60% chance of a decision, 30% chance of a major. And of course, with Mr. Ott, gotta have a little bit of a pin in here. I know Hargrove's a good wrestler, but Braden Ott knows how to pin from seemingly anywhere. And it ends up being a major, which, Matt, you hop on and the fireworks start right away here because we got a swing match to end this duel.
Yeah.
Between Matt Koisel and David Moline. Moline, a state place winner in Division III. Koisel, a state qualifier in a D1. Gave Moline a 60-40 edge here. Aquinas grabbed the last couple of swing matches, so we'll see if the senior from Nicolet can come through in the clutch. And looks like Moline still picks up the victory. So Aquinas ends up winning at 33-28, Matt. And the folks who I was working on this with, Aquinas and Nicolet, the fact that, you know, they both had a chance to make the top 12 in this tournament. I consider, you know, the winner and the loser, they both had pretty impressive tournament runs. We're kind of getting to the point where there's not a bad team in the mix.
Yeah, we've saw them both throughout the year. We saw Nicolet at Mid-States, and then we dueled Aquinas when we went down there for the duels that time. And boy, I tell you, both good programs. I mean, you could wrestle that 10 times and it might be 5-5 depending on adjustments and majors and stuff like that. Just two programs that are really starting to pick it up and fun to wrestle because the kids come out and they wrestle you hard and they bring it. Great coaching, you know, great support and stuff too. So.
Man, Nicolet, that's just a great run to Team State last year. I think that's a team that we're not going to be losing track of anytime soon here. Same goes for Aquinas.
Yeah.
That brings us to the quarterfinals. We got Rapids versus Mukwonago to start out here. So starting at 182 pounds, Ashton Fisher versus Hayden Chitwood. Gave Fisher 6 points here. I believe he pinned Chitwood earlier in the year. There are some other matches that showed that. Otherwise, 195 pounds, Tanner Bars versus Dane Krimplbein. Going back to the 3-wheel for either a major tech or a pin. Yeah, Matt, we got your sectional tomorrow. Let me tell you, the choices are not easy in determining who's going to make it to team sectionals or team state.
Yeah, that's the old super regional really brings a lot into play. I mean, and even you might have some of your top teams in there, but then the second place teams, but then you throw in the dual aspect compared to the individual we've been trying to get for years. So I mean, it's going to be awesome.
I think what really makes things, it's hard to get a read when the teams that came up from the other sectional are bringing back a lot of guys. So it's hard to get a gauge on where those teams are going to kind of throw a wrench into things.
Yeah, they come right in our super regional with your Plymouth and Chilton and Sheboygan Falls and, you know, everybody from down that way. And there's some quality programs and a lot of good kids in there too. So, you know, you had the tough regular regional and our super regional is good too. But, you know, the best thing is you take 4, 3 still make it to state. So it works out the way it should.
Mm-hmm. I think all the coaches we've had on for D2, D3, they like it. It makes the individual sectional brackets better too, where you don't have a potential stud 1-2 matchup. Now you got 1 versus 4, which kind of makes a little more sense in my eyes.
Yep, for sure. Gonna be nice. We're, you know, getting the stuff done that we need to do to make our sport better, I think. So these are some of the steps we're taking to get there. So.
All right, for Schnabel versus Hansen at heavyweight, we got a 50% chance of a pin for Schnabel, a 30% chance at a decision. For Schnabel, and then 20% chance at a decision for Schnabel, and then a 30% chance at a pin for Hansen. And wow, Hansen picks up a big pin at heavyweight there, coming in on the wheel at least as an underdog, but picks up 6 there for Rapids and almost gave 6 to Mukwonago there, but 106. So this is where Rapids goes on a little bit of a run. We got a Freeman versus Stokowski, state place winner versus state qualifier. And Freeman picks up the pin over Stokowski. 113 pounds. Preston Spray versus Brian Whipple. Preston Spray and Carter Freeman pick up pins at 13 and 20. 126 gave Eisenmeyer a decision over Blake Roberts. 32 and 38, couple of swing matches in favor of Rapids. Starting off at 32, we'll just stay on the wheel for both matches.
I tell you, I don't know what maybe it was just Steve. Unless my stuff's been coming through a lot better. I think Steve was running interference on my unstableness, maybe.
Maybe he had the unstable connection. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we know he's unstable, but the connection probably could be too, I guess. So.
So 132 pounds. Lucas Bean picks up the decision. And then at 138, that's Black versus Wazinski. Black picks up the win as well, and Rapids just on a heater here and lost to Holman in that tough regional. Now it seems like they came into Ultimate Team State with something to prove.
Yeah, you know, there's a lot of people with Rapids lineup and the team they had that, you know, the whole individual thing there, that they'd had a good a shot as anybody at challenging the top teams in Division I. If they got to the dual portion just with their balance, which, you know, they've been known for years when they were winning championships too. I think it could have been interesting. It's one of them teams that would have made a big difference, I think.
Real quick here, just got to make change. Marcus Simonson's going to be at 52 against Gable. Bennett Weidman versus Zach Elaveschke. It's a 60-40 advantage in favor of Elaveschke. Mm-hmm. Cody Gable able to break up the momentum a little bit for Rapids, but wow, Bennett Weidman picks up a win here, and Rapids just on a tear in this one. The last match we have here, Kyler Tritz versus Alex Jacoby. Got another 3-wheel. And yeah, like you said, man, I think we're just kind of seeing the balance of Rapids come to fruition. Mukwonago also a balanced team, but it just seems like Rapids a little bit stronger in a lot of spots, at least just from the research that we've done.
Yeah, that's for sure. They've done very well in the dual things, and they know how to handle that. I tell you, it's the balance. It really is. That's why I think even them taking the 2 out of their regionals now, you know, will count to get the best overall dual team, you know, down there. Not taking anything away from Holman. I mean, obviously they had a super team too. I mean, you probably had, you know, 2 of the top, you know, 4 teams in the state, however they shake it out there. But
could have been a matchup that maybe we could have seen at Team State, you know, in a different universe where they were in different sectionals. And Tritz, wow, 51-15 Rapids as I thought the duel was going to be a lot closer than this one. I think Tim put it perfectly. The wheel was very Rapids friendly in that one. But man, I guess not much to say on this one. Rapids advances to the semis. But
yeah, I mean, that's probably a pretty good score, and maybe, you know, it's that way, but I don't see anything where you would, I mean, even if you change one the other way, one of your toss-ups or something, you might get the other points back that way. It shows their strength, and Mukwonago's a darn good team too. So, I mean, it shows you how good that they really were with Rapids.
And I know entertainment wise, maybe not the greatest, that everything, you know, ended up kind of getting blown out, but I think you've been a part of those duels, Matt, where it seems like all the breaks kind of go towards one team's way. It's not in this instance, it's kind of like luck in a sense, but you've seen duels where like real life, one team catches all the breaks and it's due to their guys might just be more on that night.
Yep, and that's the way it goes. The big score like that, but there's a lot of really good matches within them. That duel is actually closer than what people think. A score can be deceiving sometimes in some of them duels like that. So
exactly. And next one up here, Coleman versus Kaukauna. Our second matchup here between two team state finals teams. The moves made here, Coleman did bump Cole Klimek up and Peter Kuchta up through Isaiah Nowak in at 170. Starting off here at 182, Drew Wenzicki versus Peter Kuchta gave straight up major to Wenzicki. 195, Klimek versus Correa. This one's either a decision or a major for Klimek. And I know you look at the records and that kind of seems deceiving, but Correa, I mean, almost fought off a pin from Brooks Empey a couple of years ago, had a couple of big wins at Team State. He's the guy. His record's not flashy. The wrestling isn't flashy, but he's kind of like one of the hearts of the team, I would say.
Yep. Yeah, he's one of them kids that wins matches and gets the team pumped up, and he don't have to win the scoreboard. You know what I mean? He can win a match or just get your team going. Like I said, his win might not be on the scoreboard. It'll be within the individual match somewhere, whether it's saving points or something like that.
And it looks like Correa does hold Klimek to a decision. 220 pounds, Jordan Luce versus Damian Burke. 220 in heavyweight, Kaukauna and Coleman go back and forth here. Luce gets a pin on Burke. Zahn gets a pin on Ben Kruger. Brody Zahn from Coleman, just a pinning machine this year. Connor Markowitz and Michael Pazorski at 106. This one we gave 70-30 in favor of a decision for Markowitz. So Markowitz is winning the match. We'll see if Pazorski can hold off some bonus points.
Yeah, Markowitz, that's another tough kid from up there. And I tell you what, the Kaukauna kid came in. He really improved by the end of the year. So I think what you're doing here is probably pretty close to the way it would be. I don't know if they hit each other at Pulaski at all, where they would have had maybe some common opponents or a match against each other. But
and these are two teams where this is a matchup I'd love to see at the end of the year, because both good coaching staffs. They're at their best too by the end of the year as well. It's almost, even if they have the same names, it's almost like a completely different roster by the end. Gave Lucas Peters a major over at John Nowak. 126, Brady Gross and Brian Winans. Winans, we gave either a tech or a pin here in favor of a tech. And that's not a knock on Gross. Brian Winans, just a really, really impressive year and a great finish to the year as well, finishing third in state.
Yeah, Gross is tough, but Winans is a little takedown machine. He's a little motor that doesn't stop. So, and like you said, Gross is one tough customer too. Kind of different styles here, I think, between teams too, where you have a little more of the takedown release, build up a lead compared to your takedown, grind them out and pin them with Coleman.
Winan ends up with a tech here. Connor Smith versus Chance Gruber. This one either a decision or a major for Smith. Leaning towards a decision. And we're just kind of, I know things look grim for Coleman, but we're just kind of in the heart of Kaukauna''s lineup right now.
Yeah, they're tough right through there. I mean, you get to 120. I mean, even the Hansen kid at 13 is decent too. I mean, there's a murderer's row there. And then you get to wherever you can use Peyton Lee with Grace in there. So I mean, it's tough to match that. And you get on that roll there, like you said. So.
And a decision for Smith at 132. Peyton Lee versus Micah Kuchta. This one, I did a lot of digging on this one. It actually ended up being a swing match here, a 50-50 swing match. And you know, at this point in the duel, both teams bring good crowds. This is probably where the crowd would be at a fever pitch.
Yeah. I mean, Peyton Lee's coming into his own. The Kuchta kid is, a long, tough customer too. So, I mean, there's so many good matches within this duel, which there should be with the level that we're talking about, so it's one of them toss-up ones. So.
And Lee picks up a big pin at 130, at 138, 145. Coleman did bump up 45 through 60. Grayson Clark goes against Cortez Ramiro, which when you throw a backup in against a stud like Grayson Clark, Steve and I use the term, maybe it's a little derogatory, but we use the term pin bait almost, but sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, that's one where you'd love to see, right? If you could somehow get them two to wrestle each other, you'd love to be able to get them, one way or the other, whoever, wants that match. You could get Clark against Casper, man, that's what you come to see, but for the dual wise, that's a whole different story, right? You got to do what's right for your team at the time, depending who you need and who you want right there. And these guys, Jeff Mochik and Kevin Casper are masters of the chess game. So it would definitely be interesting.
Learned that the hard way this year. And then the last match. So Casper and Bieber did pick up a couple of pins, but Judah Hammond ends this with a pin, makes it 37-30 Kakana. Even with that swing match, still would have ended up in Kakana's favor. And I mean, even if the swing match flipped to Coleman, it's kind of what we were expecting, Matt, is going to be a lot of, 1 point differences here and there that would end up deciding this duel.
Yeah, I think that because you're more than a toss-up match away, right? You're 7 points away. So even if a toss-up switches, it's still a 1 point win by Kakana. And I think, as you said, not to knock on Coleman, it's just the strength of Kakana with the balance that they have in there also. But the Coleman kids, they bring it though too. So.
Oh yeah, that's I mean, again, another I like to see all these duels in person at this point. I think once we got to like the second round, I was basically at that point. And we got our last matchup here between team state finalists. We got Amory and Holman. So 2 matches left on the night. Man, this one a barn burner, but Amory won the toss. They chose to send evens. And we'll talk more about Amory's move here, but 182-pound Grant Cook versus Dylan Lethan. This one's either a major or a pin for Cook. Lethan, a good piece for Holman this year, but man, Cook just had himself a year. You got to give credit where it's due. And
yeah, I mean, that top part there of Amory is that's tough to crack when you get up there, boy. I mean, that's nice. And when you can have good big guys in high school wrestling, I mean, not good, I guess we're talking probably one of the best top lineups you could say in a long time, that's beat there,
Then at so of course pinned by both the Hopkins here. Heavyweight, we got Robert Beasy versus Carson Westcott. And this one interesting. So I think with Westcott giving up weight, just thinking duel wise, I think Holman knows they just don't want Westcott to give up the pin. So I think if they're wrestling a tournament, there's a higher chance of a pin for Beasy, but in this duel setting, it's a 50-50 4-6 here.
Beasy's a beast. I agree with you listening to you guys talk to coach and that. Like we wrestled him in the finals with Lister the year before, and he looked like a total different guy. I mean, he was so good before, and then the work he put in to get there was just outstanding. And the Westcott kid I don't know very well. I knew his older brother a little bit, but I know they're pretty tough too. But I mean, when you're going against a kid of Beasy's stature and how good he is, I mean that's tough to match.
Brendan Berkey versus Camden Thiel at 106. Berkey, another guy who seemed from the year before really improved his craft.
Yeah, Berkey, that's a pretty tough little kid there. I mean, and you want that little anchor down there too, so you can start off with that little fire plug when you come from behind them big studs. That's good to have a kid like that down there. And then they have the other kid if they need to move. But I mean, you go to Lane Anderson next, so I mean, it's tough in there.
And Berkey does get a pin on Thiel. Try to give Thiel some benefit because even with his record, again, one of those guys that's pretty good at staving off pins, but you can't deny Berkey's track record. Yeah. Had a 50% chance of a pin and got it. And Matt, this is where backups are important. So Amory, they decided to bump up Lane Anderson, we decided to bump up Lane Anderson against Dom Ammerman and put Braden Brustleton in against Turner Campbell. So Campbell picks up 6 here, but kind of the method to the madness is Amory had a good chance at 7 wins. And when you pick up 8 wins in a duel, especially when you're getting bonus points like they are, it definitely helps your cause. So I think Amory in this situation, just looking to bump up for a more for sure win.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it's where you start too, if you need to get to the end. And I mean, obviously we're starting here, but I mean, it could be different a different way. If you bump Berkey up and leave Braden down, against Steele, I mean, that's an option. Depending how you get, you could look for 3 in a row there instead of 2 and 1. I guess it depends. So that's the fun part of it right there, Teague. I'm telling you, gotta love it.
The chess match aspect is my favorite part of working through these things.
So many people don't understand that. I don't think they really. I mean, the more and more that duels are getting out there now and stuff, I think people who love wrestling really get into it, but some of them people that they don't understand them little things, and that's the best part about it.
126 Beasy versus Weiss. This was a 75% chance of a major, 25% chance of a pin. Weiss does pick up a major here at 126. 132 Sam Gallon versus Preston Cradaville. Gave Preston 6 here. Tyler Yan versus Joseph Wentz, man, this one, Tyler Yan's a very good wrestler. I think looking at results, I knew that Yan would win, but Wentz, I think a guy that he gave a bonus points, I think once on the year. And I think he might've not gotten pinned at all either. And there's even good guys that can't say that on a year. Yeah. So
Wentz is around some of them guys there. Like, look at the guys he gets to practice with, the guys that are coming up next. You know what I mean? You're going to be tough whether you want to be or not, I think sometimes.
You kind of just get thrown into the fire in that situation. Yeah. 145. This one, 70-30, a major or a pin for Parker Cradaville. And Mason Tylee holds off a pin from Cradaville. So 4 points for Cradaville. This one is a match that I'd like to see in real life. Even their common opponents were pretty fun. Wyatt Ingham versus Branson Beers. This one's a 60-40 in favor of Ingham.
Yeah, that's another tough kid right there. There's the balance in there is what you're looking at. Again, we talk about it with all the good teams. So you can hold that off, or sometimes even you lose the regular decision is okay. So.
And Ingham ends up picking up the decision there. Eddie Symes versus Benson Swadek. Try to be a little nice with Swadek because he had a good finish to his year, but still being nice in this sense with Eddie Symes is giving him a 20% chance of a tech, with still an 80% chance of a pin. Eddie Symes, one of the great additions to Amory's team this year.
Yeah, that's for sure. He fit right in where they need him. That was nice.
And that is a tech fall for Symes. So Swadek able to hold off there. That'd be a win in most situations, I would say.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
At 170, this is a 75% chance of a pin for Kyle Garrell, 25% chance of a major versus Cole Andren. Wow. Tim was right. The wheel definitely definitely didn't help Holman's case in this one, but regardless, Gerald picks up a major. Final score 40-27 Amory. Holman wins 6 matches, but against Amory, it's just how do you not give up bonus points? I just think Holman's a great team, but I just think this ended up not being a great matchup for them.
Yeah, I agree 100%. You hit it right on the head there with the bonus points, and again, a lot of good matches. Great matches through the end of it there for sure. When you get to the Cradaville's and Inghams and all them and the Tylees. So, I mean, it's some good stuff in there. So it's another one of them 13-point matches that maybe wrestled, once you get past the studs on top, looks like almost a draw once you get past the 18, right? Because there's 13 off of there. You know what I mean? After that, it's tough, but that's wrestling though. That's what they have. That's why they're so good. That's why Amory's so good.
And the one thing, the big move I think is 13. So let's say if Turner Campbell goes against Lane Anderson and gets a win there, and Dom Ammerman gets a win at 20, then that's you have a different match. The one thing the wheel doesn't take into account is depending on how a match goes, coaches might change up how they strategize individual matches going forward too.
Yep, that's for sure.
And that brings us to our last match, a little Wisconsin Valley Conference matchup between Marshfield and the dark horses so far, Wausau West. Starting at 182. Marshfield did beat Wausau West earlier in the year, but Marshfield's lineup is different from then. They weighed in differently at Team State, but yeah, let's get started on that one.
Yeah, the Valley's got what, 3 teams in the quarters here? I mean,
yep.
It doesn't surprise you, really. I mean, if you know the quality that they got out there, it's definitely understandable for sure.
So this one's 80-20 in favor of a tech here for Cameron Denny. Well, yeah, no, it reminds me kind of like the 2000s or 90s when you'd always see a Valley team in the finals at state, maybe 2.
Yeah, yep, for sure. With Rapids and West and then bouncing back and forth.
All right, so a tech for Cameron Denny at 182. Cody Wykes versus Joe Behrens. Wykes is a good wrestler, but man, these upper weights for Wausau, they know how to get pins.
Yeah. This is going to go well for them. It's a good matchup, at least to start there. For them. If you started at this spot, you'd be okay, right?
Right. Yeah.
Wausau West, you get a little momentum going into the bottom, and them little guys that can carry you a little bit of a ways.
And then with this one, Colton Gearing, 60% chance of a major, 30% chance of a decision, 10% chance of a pin. Joey Carolfi, man, one of the MVPs for Marshfield in the postseason, comes in and pins Carson Westcott. Even he only had like 8 varsity matches on his record. That's coming through for your team in a big way.
Yeah, you gotta be ready, and that's where the depth is, right? You just don't know who these kids or where they've been used. I mean, that's the part of it.
All right, so we got a 3-wheeler here. So I just got to set this up real quick between Adrian Kruger and Athens Summers.
Yeah, 29-20 and 21-7. So I mean, that's a good toss up there. So, how did they do in the duel?
I think Kruger got a pin, and then I think he won a match in sudden victory in the postseason as well.
Oh.
Summer's one of those guys where all of his matches are pretty much by pin, but due to that one sudden victory match, I threw in a little 10% for Summers as well, but Kruger has a 55% chance of winning by decision. Summers 35% chance of pin, 10% chance. So Kruger's with a little advantage in this one.
Yeah.
Oh, so correction. Tim Spray. They did split on the year. That's my bad.
Oh, they split.
And Kruger picks up a big pin there. for Marshfield.
That's the
Yeah,
fun part
Marshfield.
with some of them heavyweights. You never know with them heavyweights sometimes. I mean, sometimes it's a coin flip, with some of them guys.
106 pounds. Tai Yang picks up a little slack for Wausau West, gets a pin there. This one between Kellenhoffer and Sam Gallon. This is in favor of Gallon. It's either going to be a decision or a pin. The decision pin ones are always fun to like when you kind of look at it. You have guys where either they're not going to pour on points, but if they get bonus points, it's more than likely a pin.
Yeah. Yeah. You wonder, right? Are they the top beast or are they the guy that goes feet to back? You know what I mean? Where does that come?
It's one of those, like a decision or pin match it's a pretty big match in a duel. If you think like a 3-point difference, that's half of a swing match right there.
Yep.
So Gallon gets a decision. 120. Caleb Denny versus Chi Ming Zhang. Gave 6 to Denny here. Graydon Rohde versus Gavin Lang at 126. We got a swing match.
Yeah, 20 and 16 and 17 and 25. That depending who they are and who they wrestled or what goes on, what your schedule is, you know what I mean? That could be interesting.
And it's a big win there for Lang, which brings us into 6 matches left. Wausau West up 22-17, but just knowing Marshfield's team from this year, I know how the wheel's set up, but you can look at this duel in a vacuum, and Marshfield from 32 to 70 or even 82, they are set.
Oh, yeah, they're tough. That's for sure.
All right, so Cliver versus Peasy. This is either a major or a pin for Cliver.
Does Peasy hold some bonus points off? I see he's 3-3. Oh, he got the pin anyway, so I guess.
Was a close one though. The wheel stuck close, but you can't be too shocked when Marshfield picks up 6 in any given match. Blaskowski versus Gallon. Gave 6 to Blaskowski. Gallon, a good wrestler, but kind of likes to put himself in dangerous positions, and Blaskowski's not the type of wrestler you want to do that against.
No, he's a good pinner too. He's pinned some pretty good kids.
Brett Franklin versus Gabe Ramos. This is one of the more fun matches that I'd like to see in this duel. Just 2 very good wrestlers. Ramos picks up the victory on the wheel. 152, William White versus Heisler. William White, pretty impressive year. He gets a pin. Griesbach versus Calms. This one, either a major or a pin for Griesbach. I believe Griesbach picked up bonus points in some form on Calms. And Griesbach's one of those guys, Matt, where, in a tournament setting, he wasn't even in their starting lineup. But talk about a good guy to have waiting in the wings for you.
Yeah, you wonder how that works sometimes, right? That he doesn't crack it for the tournament, but you use him in a duel. You know what I mean? You just wonder sometimes. That Willow White kid is pretty tough too. We saw him this spring in some freestyle Greco, so he's pretty good kid too. So, and Dozel coming up. So
yeah, for Griesbach, I think it's just a matter of can you beat Dozel or William White, and that's
yeah. I mean, where do they use him? Right? It looks like they use him. Does he get the tough guy? For duels, right? Is he the sacrificial lamb? But I mean, he's 20-11, and around them guys, he's doing pretty well with the 2 guys he's got around him. Another guy that's going to be good with the partners he's got.
And then Denny versus Dozel versus Napawaki to close things off. Dozel does get a tech here, so it's kind of similar to the score that we saw in the duel. Marshfield 46, Wausau West 25, and sets up a semifinals, Matt, where Marshfield versus Amory. That might be bonus points galore in that one.
Yeah, that's definitely an interesting one when you look at the matchups where both teams are good. You know what I'm saying? So that's obviously with Amory's top part there, but even some of the middle matches where you get in with blast, some of them upper middles too, where, you know, Amory's got some good ones. That's going to be a fun one to figure out. So
real quick, I can pull up the bracket here and kind of run through. Got through 8 duels in 1 hour. Not too bad. Say we made pretty good time in this one. I know it's might be getting close to. I know you're kind of a early to bed, early to rise guy. So
yeah, that 3 a.m. comes pretty fast, but when it's wrestling and stuff, that's okay.
So in the semis, we're gonna have Rapids versus Kakwana. That's again a match that maybe we could have seen at Team State. That'll be a fun one. And we got Amory versus Marshfield on the bottom side. Just looking at the numbers real quick, Mukwonago in the blood round is going to face Fenimore. That'll be a fun matchup. Coleman will be going against Pulaski. That's how far are those teams apart from each other? That can't be like more than what, like 30 minutes?
No, not even. Probably not even. Probably like 20 maybe or something. So it's cut across the top part of Northeast Wisconsin there. So
Holman will be going against, wow, look at that. Holman going against Aquinas. That's Holman won earlier in the year by 13, but Aquinas kind of got a boost with Zach Moline in the lineup. I think that's going to make things interesting in that one. So, I mean, we talk about the WVC. How about the MVC with 2 teams still in the tournament? Yeah. And then we have Milton versus Wausau West. So, I mean, looking at the blood round next week, Matt, that's going to be a good 4 matches to determine which teams are our final place winners here.
Man, it's just crazy when you see that. And you see some of the teams that are, you know, in the back part there. It's fun to watch. It's fun to do the hypothetical thing like this, to be able to go through it and just, you know, go through the actual lineups. We can think of like possible moves, I mean, and stuff. It's awesome.
And folks, that's all we got for tonight. Once again, thank you to Mr. Matt Verbaden for hopping on. Knew you'd come through in the clutch. Steve told me you had a guest on, and I just had an inkling that it was you. But thanks again for hopping on, Matt. I always enjoy talking wrestling with you. And this isn't the easiest thing to co-pilot for, because it's just a lot of me rattling out numbers and whatnot. So
no, it's fun to be able to throw. It's like I was in a major league. I'm not the best color man in the game for nothing. So I mean, you just, you know, as long as you don't have to see my picture up there, that's good. So you keep the bracket up there. That's the main part. But, you know, Teague, this is awesome the way you guys do this. And it's not just throw them out there and who you want, when you put the time and effort into it as to research and who's won, who's done, you know, in different tournaments, common opponents. So, you know, the way you guys do it is outstanding, you know.
Thank you, Matt. We appreciate that. Well, folks, we got Sectional B preview tomorrow. I think we're doing our D3 Sectional B preview on Sunday. Going to have Crandon coach Paul Clearman on there. Crandon, one of those up and coming programs that I think they're going to like the new format this year. But thanks again for tuning in, folks, being active on the chat. And yeah, we will catch you on the flip side.
See ya.